conflict between Israel and Palestine began on
the 7th of October.
The conflict between Israel and Palestine began many years ago. This context
is an irrelevant justification for evil.
This context is vital in the pursuit of objective understanding.
The IDF are the most moral army in the world.
Moral people do not systematically attempt to convince people of their own morality.
People are innately objective.
People are innately subjective, hypocritical, emotional, aggressive, tribal, biased, fallible, fearful.
Fear justifies any course of action.
Fear justifies any course of action.
Hurt people invariably have empathy for hurt people.
Hurt people. Hurt people.
An effective way to express condemnation for the act of killing innocent people is to kill innocent people.
An effective way to express hypocrisy for the act of killing innocent people is to kill innocent people. Disproportionately.
Hamas committed horrific atrocities on the 7th of October.
Israel committed horrific atrocities on the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th.
Justice is dealt in the fog of war.
Sadism descends in a red mist.
Violence is essential to reduce violence.
Violence is essential to perpetuate violence.
The IDF takes every precaution to minimize civilian casualties. The IDF
states that it
takes every precaution to minimize civilian casualties. We know our slogan. There are no uninvolved civilians. Israel wants Palestinians to leave their home and go to safe zones.
Safe zones do not exist. Israel wants Palestinians to leave their home.
Atrocities are committed by people with headbands and AK-47s.
Atrocities are committed by people with business suits and F-16 fighter jets.
Atrocities cannot be committed in response to an atrocity.
Atrocities are often committed in direct response to atrocities.
People are seldom the perpetrators, but are always the victims.
People often fail to recognize the gravity of their own actions, only truly grasping the impact when similar acts are perpetrated against them. This discrepancy stems from a bias or a deficiency in empathy, revealing a disconnect between one's actions and their consequence.
Collateral damage.
Human beings. Kidnapping hostages is immoral. Kidnapped hostages should all be returned. Stealing is wrong. People don't like having things taken from them, or having water and fuel controlled, or illegal settlements, or checkpoints, blockades, military occupation, home demolitions, economic restrictions, restrictions of movement, limited services, annexations, detentions, border controls, displacement, collective punishment, racism, subjugation, being treated as subhuman. Unfairness breeds frustration. Justifying the placement of someone in a cage by showing their anger once placed within it is irrational. Justifying putting them in a harsher cage by witnessing an increase in anger is vindictive.
The IDF bear no responsibility for the loss of life in Gaza. The culpability lies entirely with Hamas's strategy of employing human shields.
The bombs being used are ordered by the Israeli government, are loaded onto Israeli planes by Israeli soldiers, and fired by Israeli pilots, in line with Israeli strategy. Violent, abusive husbands often blame their wives for their actions, as a transparent and contemptible means to negate moral responsibility.
Hamas are dropping bombs on Gaza.
Israel are dropping bombs on Gaza.
Hamas have killed 17,000 Palestinians.
Israel have killed 18,000, 19,000, 20,000, 21,000, 22,000, 23,000, 24,000, 25,000, 26,000, 27,000.
Israel is allowed to defend itself.
Palestine is allowed to defend itself.
Israel's actions are the only way it can defend itself.
Strongly held sincere beliefs can be wrong.
Israel's invasion of Gaza is reducing anti-Israeli sentiment.
Israel's invasion of Gaza is inflaming anti-Israeli sentiment.
Israel's invasion of Gaza is making Israel
less safe. Hamas's actions are making Gaza less safe. Being killed in a kibbutz is horrific. Being killed in a UN refugee camp is horrific.
Hamas have committed war crimes.
Israel have committed war crimes.
It is morally reprehensible to compare the actions of the IDF to Hamas.
It is morally reprehensible to continually assign lesser value to the lives and anguish of Palestinians.
All lives are valued equally.
All lives are valuable and equal. Consistently throughout history, people with darker skin have been perceived to have less value than those with lighter skin. Displaying double standards is a frequent tendency of humans. Hamas are terrorists. If Hamas killed with F-16 fighter jets and US support, they would still be terrorists.
Ethnic cleansing. The mass expulsion or killing of members of one ethnic or religious group in an area by those of another.
Israel have coordinated a humanitarian safe zone.
Israel have coordinated a mass expulsion.
Israel are defending people.
Israel are killing people. Palestinians are members of an ethnic or religious group. Gaza is an area. Israel is another area.
No one knows where to go at this point.
Genocide. The deliberate killing of a large number of people from a particular nation or ethnic group with the aim of destroying that nation or group.
Israel is not engaging in genocide because they possess the capability to kill everyone but choose not to.
Genocides do not need for everybody to be killed.
Hamas would like to commit genocide. Hamas are perpetually firing rockets at Israel.
Feeling perpetually under threat must be emotionally exhausting and terrifying. They should stop.
If you are critical of Israel, you are anti-Semitic, you love Hamas, you love Hitler, you hate God.
If you are critical of Israel, you hate indiscriminate killing, counterproductive destruction, self-defeating violence, and callousness.
The United Nations treats Israel unfairly.
The United Nations treats Israel fairly, and is our best mechanism for objectivity. Truths can sometimes be seen as unfair. Anti-Semites should be vociferously challenged and corrected. Islamophobes should be vociferously challenged and corrected.
All Jewish people agree with Israel. All Muslims agree with Hamas. Jewish people are the IDF. Palestinians are Hamas. One day, objectivity and empathy
will outshine our endemic tribal instincts.
One day.
Dom 1.